Hello, my name is Clara, and I would like to thank you for your time and consideration to watch our video today. We have a few topics of discussion which do include the history of multiple intelligence and learning styles, different types of tasks and projects for these styles, and pros and cons that may fall under them as well. I'd like to start by introducing and explaining the different types of learning styles by David Collum. In 1984, David posted his model on learning styles. Collum's theory of experimental learning operates on two levels: a cycle of learning that consists of 4 stages and 4 distinct learning styles. His theory focuses a lot on the internal cognitive process of the learner. According to his idea, novel experiences serve as the catalyst for the creation of new notions. The 4-stage learning style, which touches all bases, is commonly used to illustrate the experimental style theory. These 4 topics do include concrete experience, which refers to a fresh encounter and a reimaginative of an already existing event; reflective observation of the new experience, where everything that they newly learn and highly prioritize will be noted by the student; abstract conceptualization, where results and a reflection and experience of the individual may develop new notion or alter the thought that already exists. And number 4 is active experimentation, where the student will test out one or more of their theories just to see what will happen. A walkthrough of the process does look like starting with having a concrete experience, 2, observing and reflecting on that experience, 3, forming the abstract concepts or analyzing or coming to conclusion for it, and number 4 is testing their hypothesis and creating new theories based on what they have learned. The other style that Collum also used is when he noticed that some people just preferred a specific learning style. A person's favorite style is influenced by a number of things. For instance, it could be a person's social surroundings, educational background, or fundamental cognitive structure. There are 4 main learning styles, starting with divergent. These individuals possess the capacity to view things from several angles. They're very perspective. They intend to gather information by watching instead of doing. Second is reason strategy. For these learners, people are not as significant as their ideas and ideals for them. These individuals prefer a clear explanation and more than a useful opportunity. They're excellent at comprehending a large range of information and arranging it logically and clearly. Third is converting learners, who are capable of problem solving and will apply what they have learned to resolve real-world situations. They are less interested in people and interpersonal dynamics and prefer technological work. Converting learners are the greatest at applying concepts and theories in the real-world context. By figuring out answers to the issues and challenges, they are able to make decisions and solve problems. Number 4 is hands-on, the accommodating learning style. These folks prefer hands-on, essential approach and make use of other people's insights. They are drawn to taking on new styles and experience as well as executing plans, frequently acting without thinking. They follow their gut initiation. Individuals who have adaptive learning styles would typically do their own research instead of gathering information from others. The majority of people have this learning style. Normally, for learners, their choice of style consists of two of the 4 options that weave back into the learning cycle. For example, a student who accommodates divergent really likes the idea of feeling, which falls under the style of concrete experience. This is also used for other styles as well. As you can see, if this is your first time you are hearing about Collum's theory, it may apply to you. For example, I would classify myself under being an abstract conceptualist because of the idea of perception and when it comes to items including homeworks or any type of planning. which makes this a great foundation to go off when it comes to figuring out your diversity in your classrooms.
I will be speaking on the history of multiple intelligence. The theory of multiple intelligences was invented by psychologist Howard Gardner. He created this theory based off observations of brain-damaged patients in a Boston hospital. He created this because he believed the traditional use of using IQ scores to test intelligence was not accurate. He believed that there were other ways and ranges of human potential to show intelligence. We will touch more on the breakdown of these later in the presentation, but here's where he based his evidence off of. First, we have linguistic intelligence. That is an understanding of the rules, rhythm, meaning, and function of languages. Next, we have logical mathematical intelligence. This is the ability to analyze solution or problems logically and identify solutions very quickly. Next, we have spatial intelligence. This is the ability to generate, retain, retrieve, transform well-structured images. Then we have bodily kinesthetic intelligence. That is touching and movement-based. It's the capacity to manipulate objects and use a variety of physical skills in order to understand a concept. We have musical intelligence. That it's the ability to perceive, distinguish, transform, and express sounds and musical tones. Interpersonal intelligence. That's the ability to understand and interact effectively with others. We have interpersonal intelligence. That's existing or occurring within oneself and within one's mind. Naturalist intelligence, learning based from nature. And then we also have existential intelligence, which is what we consider to be life smart. His theory of multiple intelligence was first presented in his 1983 book, Frames of Mind. The points of this theory included challenging the traditional views, that intelligence could be measured by short answer tests and not by IQ tests, identifying multiple different types. He proposed that everyone has small intelligences, but we just have them in different amounts. So we all have the same, they're just broken down individually. He then shared that schools should support all different types of intelligences and teach based upon them. Multiple intelligences are now used to teach all different types of students today.
Hello everyone. I will be talking about some of the multiple intelligence classroom activities that we can use. So first, let's start off with verbal linguistic. I can read stories aloud to the class, lecture, make speeches in assignments, do reflection in a notebook, and having class debates. Moving on to logical mathematical intelligence, I can use puzzles in my classroom, use word problems, and I can also try to create mathematical equations within different content areas. Moving on to virtual spatial intelligence, I can teach my students the use of maps, Pictionary, and even activities with clay, paint, or modeling. I've also found that using the taking of photos and short films in the classroom helps as well. For musical intelligence, I can create songs and rhythms in my classroom to learn new concepts, listen to musical pieces, and play instruments in my classroom. For body kinesthetic intelligence, things that I can do in my classroom is the use of Legos and having body movement activities like dancing, role-playing, and even acting. I've also found that physical exercise helps out as well. For intrapersonal intelligence, provide classroom spaces for individual study, self-taught readings, and the application of learning centers. For interpersonal intelligence, I can have my students peer tutor each other within my classroom, classroom community support activities, and the use of scenario simulation periods. And finally, for naturalist intelligence, I can make a garden with my main classroom, and I can take my classroom on walks in natural environments. I've also seen teachers show videos and films related to nature, so that helps the students get the concept and the idea of nature within their mind.
Hi, my name is Aubryana, and I would just like to talk a little bit more about the use of multiple intelligences and learning styles, as it can greatly help to transform our classrooms. As my peers have mentioned prior, understanding these concepts can help us tailor our teaching methods to better meet the diverse needs of our students. However, while there are many benefits to this approach, there are also some challenges that we must consider. So, let's go ahead and get into it, starting with the pros. First off, enhanced engagement. Utilizing this model of multiple intelligences and learning styles, we can recognize students' strengths, and whether it's musical, kinesthetic, logical, interpersonal, etc., we can create more engaging lessons that capture our students' interests. For example, a student who excels in bodily kinesthetic intelligence may thrive in a hands-on activity, whereas a student who thrives in interpersonal intelligence may do better with a group project or a group discussion. In addition to this engagement, understanding these differences allows us to tailor our instruction to each learner. If we know a student learns best through visual aids, we can incorporate more things like charts or videos into our lessons. This personalized approach can lead to greater academic success for all types of learners in our classrooms. And the last benefit of utilizing this teaching model that I want to touch on today is that multiple intelligences emphasize the strengths of each student, and this aids in helping us to promote a growth mindset within our classrooms. Instead of focusing solely on what a student struggles with, we can teach our students to use their strengths to succeed and celebrate their unique talents. This will help with building confidence and allow students to take ownership of their learning. So now, despite the many great things that come with this, we should also discuss some of the challenges that come too. So first off, implementing a curriculum that addresses multiple intelligences can be both time-consuming and resource-intensive. Designing varied activities and lessons and assessments requires additional planning and sometimes materials, which is not always an easy thing to do in a busy classroom. Another challenge is the risk of oversimplifying students' abilities, because while it's helpful to identify different intelligences and strengths, it's also important that we do not pigeonhole our students. Although students may excel in one area, they can also have strengths in others too. We must avoid labeling them based solely on one intelligence for that reason. And the last point I want to touch on is that when using this model, assessing students can also change, and it might become a bit more complicated for us. For example, traditional testing may not accurately reflect a student's understanding if the way they learn best is through hands-on activities or creative projects. This is why, although developing diverse assessment strategies takes extra effort and extra time, it is crucial for a fair evaluation. So in conclusion, understanding multiple intelligences and learning styles has both significant benefits and notable challenges. By maximizing this knowledge, we can create a more inclusive and effective learning environment. However, we must also remain mindful of the complexities involved in its implementation. Ultimately, it's all about finding the right balance to ensure that every student can thrive. Thank you for listening to our presentation. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, let us know. I look forward to hearing your feedback and discussing this further. Bye.